Hello all. In this session, we'll work on table maintenance generator. In short form, you can also call it as TMG, table maintenance generator. So first we'll see what is table maintenance generator. So in the previous sessions, we've already practiced how to create custom tables, which includes master tables and transaction tables. So when we create a custom table, for example, we created a master data table in which we are going to maintain some master data. Depends on the requirement or depends on the new requirements. The business users need to add new master data to the table whenever required. Okay. So how can you create new records, or how can you change existing records, or how can you delete existing records of the master tables or configuration tables? That we can achieve through table maintenance generator. So usually these development transactions like SC11 authorizations are not available in production for the business users or anyone. Okay. So this SC11 transaction code is restricted in production systems. So otherwise you can go to in SC11, open the table and you can go to the contents. You can create some data in it. But in the real time practice, no one is going to use SC11 to create the data. We have to use table maintenance generator to maintain data in master tables and, for example, some configuration tables. I can exemplify one scenario. Let's say there are different departments in a company. We have a master table to maintain all valid departments in a table. We can also call it a check table. You can use that master table as check table to validate the department ID. For example, in future, if there is any new department added in your organization, what we have to do, we have to create that new department ID and department name in the corresponding master table. How the business users is going to do that? Are they going to do that in development or test system? No, right? They have to do it in production system. Without having access of SC11, how can they do that? So we provide table maintenance generator screen. Okay. So in that screen, business users can maintain that additional master data whenever they need it. So there is no dependency on the developer or coding, or they don't need to move any transports. They can directly go to table maintenance generator screen in production system and they can maintain the required master data in the tables. Usually we use it for master data tables because all the transactional data will be created based on application programs. For example, sales order creation, purchase order creation, equipment transactions, all are those are depends on the application programs. We should not provide access. We should not create maintenance screens, table maintenance screens for the transactional tables, which contains business data, business transactions data, so that we are going to provide an option to modify the data, right? The transactions data. So we should be very careful in creating table maintenance screens for transactional tables. Okay. Mostly we create it for master tables or configuration tables. So now let's see how to create a table maintenance screen for a table. For that, first we'll create a sample table. So let's create one master table, ZDemo employee. Let's assume it as a master data table. So what is the delivery class? Application table, which contains master data and transaction data. Delivery and maintenance allowed. And go to the fields. What is mandatory for a table? Primary key, right? So how many primary keys? What are the maximum number of primary keys we can add? Up to 16 primary keys. One primary key is mandatory, we can add up to 16. So is it a client dependent table or client independent table? If you use MANDT, it's a client dependent table. If you don't use MANDT, it's a client independent table. So that data which created in one client can be accessible in all the other clients if you don't maintain MANDT. Such type of tables we call it as client independent tables. EMP ID, make it as a primary key, and data element. What is the data element? Semantic properties of a table field. For example, I'll take some standard data element, or we'll create one data element. Let's assume. Okay, let's create the data element. This data element is not available. So double click on it to create it. Package. So if you assign a package, it will ask for a transport request. For now, I'll create in the local object. So we need a domain also, right? Domain is the technical attribute of the table field. In data element, what else we maintain? Field labels. We maintain field labels also. You can also maintain. So let's create the domain. So a domain is also not available. Double click on it, create domain. Data type, I'll take char10. Employee ID can contains character data also. What is this case sensitive option? If you select this case sensitive option, the table will accept the data as it is. If you enter data in uppercase, it will accept in uppercase. If you enter data in lowercase, it will accept in lowercase. Okay, as it is how the user entered the data. But if you don't select this case sensitive, by default everything will be converted to uppercase. What is this value range? Here we can enter possible values for this field. This is a domain level validation. You can also configure value table here. Okay. Now activate the domain. Domain is active. Go back. Activate the data element. So first field is created. EMP name. I'll try to use some standard data elements. Okay, instead of creating a new data element for every field, I'll try to use this. This is available in KNA1 vendor name and city. What is city data element? ORT01. Country. The standard field name is land1. I'm using the same field name. If you want, you can also use a country. So these four fields are enough for now for our example. Save it. What is the mandatory parameters required for the table? Technical settings. Go to technical settings. What type of table it is? Is it a master table or transactional table? It's a transaction table, right? So this data class defines what type of data we are going to create. Since it's a master data, I'm selecting APPL0. Size category. What is size category? The approximate number of records we are going to store in this table, so that it will allocate some space in the backend database for this table. It depends on the table fields and table size. Okay, the size category will be vary from table to table. Since we have only four fields in the table, it is showing size category value for 0 as 0 to 4500. If you have 10 or 15 fields, this range will be reduced. just like if you have 15 fields, it will be around 0 to 3000 records. Okay, so here we are not restricting records by selecting the size category. Once this size category is exceeded, right, once we created 4500 records, right, it will automatically extend the size category. Another 4500 records will be added automatically. We don't need to worry about it. Okay, even we created more records. DB specific properties in S4 HANA environment, we are using HANA database, right? Here we have column store and row store tables. By default, it is selected column store data. So by using column store tables, right, we can save a lot of database space. It won't when we are using column store data, we can eliminate lot of duplicate data. Okay, also read performance is highly faster in column store tables. Okay, read performance is very good in column store tables. Our traditional ECC tables are row store tables only. Okay, now we're done with the technical settings. Go back and activate the table. Now my table is activated. This is enhancement category. You know how to uh, yeah, this one. So how you want to enhance this table in future? Can be enhanced with deep structures, can be enhanced with character like our numeric, can be enhanced with only character like data, cannot be enhanced. You can select depends on your requirement. If you don't allow to enhance this table in future, you can select cannot be enhanced. I'm selecting this for now, copy and activate it. Then you're not going to see that warning message at the time of activation if you maintain the enhancement category. Now tell me, is it a client independent table or client dependent table? Since we don't have MA and DT field as a first field as a primary key, it is a client independent table. Whatever the data we create in this client, this will be available in all the clients. That particular records will be visible in all the clients. Now we'll create table maintenance generator for this table to maintain the records in this table. Okay, what is the navigation? Since we are using Fiori environment GUI, here we all you can see is these options and buttons. But if you go for classic view, right, you can see all the buttons. Okay, go to utilities, table maintenance generator. In utilities menu, you can find table maintenance generator. So what is table maintenance generator? It is a tool to maintain data in tables. Master tables are configuration tables. Custom or we can also SAP has delivered maintenance screens for standard tables also. Many standard tables which are part of SPRO, right? Where we create configuration data. So authorization group means to restrict access of this table maintenance generator screen. We can use this authorization group. For now, we'll use this default authorization group without authorization, NC. Now function group. So who are all worked on function modules, you are already aware of function group. What is a function group? Okay. For now, if there is any specific function group allocated for your project, if you are in your project, if you guys are using any specific function group, all the maintenance screens, you can use that function group. Otherwise, create your own function group. Usually, I take the table name as the function group. Okay, because at the time of using function groups, right? If you are using any existing function group which is being used for other maintenance screens, if there is any error in one maintenance screen, that will impact the entire function group. Whatever the function modules, whatever the maintenance screens assigned to that function group, right? All are not going to work. Even there is a small error in one maintenance screen or in one function module. That is the dependency. Provide the function group name. Here we have maintenance types as a one step and two step. In one step, we have only one overview screen. We have only one screen. It will display all the entries and we can maintain in the same screen. In the two step, first it will display the overview screen, and in the second step it will display the single screen where you need to enter the data and click on save to create the records. Okay, now we'll see what is overview screen. So we can enter like up to 900. The screen numbers are available up to 900. We can use up to 900. But if you want to enter, I can take 100 or something. 100, 101, 102. The screen numbers are. If you use this, find screen numbers, it will automatically assign a screen number for you. Propose screen number 1. This function group, screen number 1 is available. If we are reusing this function group in different maintenance screen, right? You need to make sure that screen number is already used or not. Okay. Now, here we have data transport details. That is recording routine and no user recording routine. When you select the recording routine, right? Whenever you create the records in the maintenance screen, it will create the transport requests for every record. Okay, it will create transport requests for every record, so that we need to transport it from development to quality, and from quality to production. You cannot directly change, or you cannot directly create records in production system. We can only create records in development system and transport it to test and then to production, so that all the three environments data will be in sync if we use this option. Okay, whatever the data we maintain in production, that data will be also available in development and test systems. Data will be in sync. Okay, but what is the additional overhead here? If there is any urgent requirement, we need to create the transport. It will anyway, whenever you do some changes, it will automatically ask for a transport request, and you need to release the transport request. You need to get approvals to release the transport request to production system. Okay, if we use standard recording routine, if you use no user recording routine, you can directly, the business users can directly create records in a production system itself. No need of transport request. They can do it quickly. But whenever they need a requirement, right? They need to be in sync with the test development and production systems. Then in some projects they use standard recording routine. Yeah. Now create. I'm using local object for this. Here we are creating two things. One is we are generating a table maintenance program, and we are generating a function group. First we are generating the function group and then table maintenance screen. Okay. Save. Now your table maintenance generator is created. Now, how to create data in the table using this table maintenance generator? What is the transaction code? Go to SM30. SM30 is the transaction code. Enter the table name and click on maintain. Why this information message is displayed? Table is cross client. Cross client means it's a client independent table, so that whatever the data you are creating here, that will be reflected in other clients also. Now create new entries. 100, name, test name of 100, city, some Hyderabad, country, IN. If you want to enter more records, you can enter. Otherwise, click on save. 101. Click on save. Now, these two records got saved in the table, right? Now go back to the table, go back and go to contents. Execute. We have two records got created in the table through table maintenance screen. If you want to delete, just select it and click on delete. It will delete. If you want to delete multiple records, select all and delete and save. It will delete all the records. Okay. Now, if you observe here, It is displaying as name one, right? The field label. If you want to customize this, if you want to change this header name, field header name, as per your own requirement, how can you do that? So we have that option in table maintenance generator. You can change this layout. You can expand or you can reduce this length or width of the each field, and you can change the field labels like header text. Also, we can add our own custom ABAP code to validate the data. We have events for that. We have table maintenance generator events for each functionality available before loading the screen, before saving, after update, like that. We'll see the events also. Go back. Now what is my requirement? I have to customize the table maintenance screen, right? Go to the table in change mode, utilities. We have already created maintenance screen for this. Go to table maintenance generator. In more, go to environment, modifications. What we need to modify? Maintenance screen. We need to maintain the screen. We have only one screen, right? Overview screen. Double click on it. Now go to layout. In menu you can find the layout. Go to layout. Here you can adjust the length or you can adjust the width of the fields like this. Click on the gray area and you can expand or decrease the width like this. Click on the white field. You can drag. If you want to change the header text, double click on the text. You can change like this. Employee name. Okay. City. If you want to change it, you can change it. CTRY. I want to change it as country. And I want to increase the width of this. Okay. You can also increase or decrease the total layout width. Here. Okay. You can customize it, depends on your requirement. Okay. Total layout width. Clear? Sorry. Now click on save. Save the layout. Close the layout and activate it. Now it is activated. Now go to the SM30. Relaunch it again. SM30. Enter the table name and click on maintain. So the changes are reflected here, right? We change the header text and increase the width of the fields. That's how we can customize the screen, table maintenance screen in table maintenance generator. So I told you about events, right? We have events here. Go to environment, modifications and events. So click on new entries here. If you select this, these are all the events available for table maintenance generator. By using these events, you can handle the custom functionalities before saving the data in database. Using this event, you can do some calculations or you can do some validations before going to save it. After saving the data in database, what you have to do? Usually we use these events to auto populate some fields. For example, who last changed date and who's the user that is changed the table maintenance data. So we can auto populate using these events. Okay, here we are going to write some ABAP code. Okay, these are all the different events. Each event is for a different purpose. Go back. Now, so you know how to generate the table maintenance screen and how to maintain the data and how to customize the table maintenance screen. If you want to see overview screen, You can check that. But before that, if you change anything, if you change any database tables, if you change this table, like for example, if you add any new fields, right? If you deleted any fields, every time you have to adjust the table maintenance screen. Please remember that. Click on change, and here you have options. New fields included in the structures, fields removed from the structure. Like if you add any new fields to the table, or if you delete any fields from the table, you have to regenerate the maintenance screen. Otherwise, you'll get exceptions in SM30. Clear? So that's about table maintenance generator. If you take two steps, right? First, let me delete this. I'm deleting the maintenance screen, and let me recreate with the two steps. Or we can also take a different table example. Now select two step, propose fields. So one we have already used it, right? Now it is proposing 2 and 3. Create. I'm creating from the beginning. Table maintenance screen is created. Now go to SM30. And again, you need to, if you do any modifications in the modification, right? Like screen layout or any events, all will be deleted when you deleted the table maintenance screen. You have to implement it from the beginning. Pro not found. Let's try again. Save it. SM30. Maintain. This is my two step screen. If you click on new entries, it will display this screen. Okay. Click on save. Okay. This is two-step screen. If you want to delete, just select the record and click on. If you want to edit, you can edit here. Why it is grayed out? Because you cannot edit the primary key fields. This is a primary key field, right? Yeah. This is about table maintenance generator. Okay. The important interview questions in table maintenance generator are navigation. In S11, open the table and go to utilities. You can find the table maintenance generator. And they'll ask you what are the screens, what is overview screen and what is two-step screen. Okay, what is single screen and what is overview screen. We have already observed that. And also they'll ask you how can you transport records from development system to production system using a table maintenance generator. Then what is the option you have to select? This one, standard recording routine. When you selected this, right, click on save, continue. Now let's go to SM30 and create any record. Maintain. Let's assume I am changing something here. 102. Click on save, or let me relaunch it. Maintain. New entry. IN. Click on save. Now if you observe, it is expecting a new transport request for this so that all these entries will be added to a transport request. Clear? Workbench to a workbench request. If you use standard record routine so that you can transport it to test system and production system. You cannot maintain directly in production system. I'll show you one more option. Let's say there are some records in our table. How can you add those records to a transport request? Let's say There are some records in the table and you need to transport it to production system. How can you transport those records? Go to contents, execute, transport entries. Okay. If you select this transport entries, it will ask for a transport request so that all your records will be added to the transport request. For some reason it is disabled. Let's see why it is disabled. For some reason this is disabled, otherwise it should be activated. Okay, you can transport all these records to test system and production system. That is about table maintenance generator screens. Okay.